Hello, and welcome to the Three Knocks at Midnight podcast. I'm your host, Gabe.
And I'm your co-host, Gato.
We got to work on that.
Well,
Welcome,
should I
everybody.
say, am I the second host? Am I also just
You
a
are
host?
the host. I'm just the hype man. There you go. How about that?
No, no, you're the host, and I'm just Harry.
What? Oh my gosh. Well, hey guys, welcome to the podcast. This is going to be your stop for anything horror related, and just anything scary, fun, urban legends, movie reviews. Today we are going to be talking about I'm saying it right, the fall of the
The
house
fall
of the fall
of
of the usher of the house
the
of the
House
fall.
of the Fall of Usher.
The house of the fall.
Dude.
The fall of the house of Usher.
Every time I was thinking about it, I always want to say the House of the Fall of Usher,
Yeah.
but it's the Fall of the House of Usher.
Yes,
weird.
yes. It was funny because Brittany was telling me about it, and she told me the title, and I thought, we both thought it was like a documentary about Usher, the singer, and his downfall.
That's funny. I remember hearing about it because so last year I was watching, what's it called? The show that Flanagan did before.
Midnight Mass.
Yeah, Midnight Mass. So Midnight Mass was a show that I wanted to watch when it first came out, but I couldn't get into it. I don't remember what was going on in my life at the time, but I tried paying attention to it. I didn't understand what was going on, and I only watched like 2 episodes, and I'm like, this is not very good. But yeah, I decided to give it another shot, just like I did with Breaking Bad back in the day.
You had to actually give Breaking Bad a shot. Oh my goodness.
Well, okay, to take this little diversion here, this short whatever. When I first started watching Breaking Bad, I would be watching it on the side as I was doing like homework or like editing videos and stuff like that. Okay, but before anybody gets mad at me, this was still when like I think season 2 had just barely come out, and it wasn't like as hype as it is today. Like the most exciting things of the show hadn't happened. So I was just trying to like kind of get into it, and I couldn't. But it's because I was distracted. And yeah, finally when I watched it again and I paid attention, I was just hooked. Like from the first episode, I was like, how did I miss all of this information? I don't know. But something similar happened with Midnight Mass, but I think I just couldn't concentrate on watching the show. And because I was trying to pay attention, but I don't know, it wasn't capturing me. And so last year I decided to give it another shot because I wanted a scary show, and started watching it, and I was just like, holy crap, like this is amazing. Like it's such a good story, and it's like a right amount of suspense and like mystery, and it was really good. So I posted about it on my Instagram, and someone said, or was asking if I had seen the Fall of the House of Usher.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I heard about it. I'm like, no, like, what is that? And they're like, oh, it's a show by the same guy. And I'm like, oh, I have to look into it. And boy, as soon as I finished Midnight Mass, I jumped right into Fall of the House of Usher. I think it took me less than a week to watch the whole show.
So you did it back to back, huh?
Yeah. Like, I think it was
Wow.
like a total of 2 weeks for both shows. So, yeah.
My goodness. See, I remember when Midnight Mass came out, and I was like, I kind of wrote it off, which was weird because I remember it was done by the same guy, Mike Flanagan, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to watch it. But then for some reason, I just lost track of it. But after watching the Fall of the House of Usher, I was like, man, I have to watch Murder or Midnight Mass. I keep thinking it's Murder Mass for some reason, but Midnight Mass. Oh man, the show was just so good.
So you did see Midnight Mass then?
I have not.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
Yeah.
I think the reason why it feels a little different is because it is like, if you look at Flanagan's work, what was the first show? Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got like this family, and then you follow their story, and then we go into like Haunting of Bly Manor, yeah. And it's kind of like a similar feel, like it's a story of a family, and it kind of follows the family. When we go into Midnight Mass, it changes the dynamic a little bit. So instead of like following one like big family, you're following like 3 or 4 different families. I mean, you follow one specifically, but there's more pieces to the story, and so it felt a little bit different than the first 2 shows. And then jumping into Fall of the House of Usher, it just went back to that same feel as the first 2 shows had. I want to say it's probably my second favorite show of the 4.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Even higher than wait, what is your number 1 then?
Haunting of Hill House.
Okay, yeah. And Midnight Mass comes second.
Midnight Mass would be third for me.
Third, and then Fall of House of Usher second. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that. Yep. I have the same rating. Haunting of Hill House, then Fall of Usher, and then Bly Manor by default, number 3.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Bly Manor. Yeah, Bly Manor's it's all right, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It was missing something for me.
I was looking on the Netflix Facebook, and they have this picture, and it says, "I love the Mike Flanagan Cinematic Universe," and it just like shows all the actors and their different roles in the different shows. And I'm seeing the picture of Midnight Mass, and I'm like curious now because they all look very different from their different counterparts in different shows.
I do think there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I think there's 3 or 4 people from Midnight Mass that go into House of Usher. What's his name? He was really good. I've been seeing this guy pop a lot. Raul Coley. He plays Leo Usher.
Is he the one, the cat dude?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been seeing him at a lot of shows. Yeah.
Really? Like, there's a different show. Like, part of this picture, it shows some of these actors in another Mike Flanagan show called The Midnight Club.
Oh.
Yeah. And based on the comments, people are saying it never finished. It only got 1 season. And people have been wanting a second season or an ending for Midnight Club. So that might be another show to check out. I don't know. Have you guys seen it? Let us know in the comments.
I'd be curious because, I mean, looking at IMDb and looking at the ratings, Midnight Club doesn't have a high rating like the other shows do.
Really? And it's also Mike Flanagan too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the director and most likely writer because he writes and directs his own stuff, right? There's a few movies that he has here that I didn't know he had worked on. Like Oculus. Did you ever see that?
Never heard of it.
It's the one with the mirror. It's a movie.
The Mirror.
It was
Oculus.
It was really creepy, yeah.
I just think of Facebook when I hear that. It's a movie, you said?
Yeah. Wait, am I thinking of this right?
Oh, that is a creepy poster. Oh, and it has Karen, the girl from...
Karen Gillan, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. 6.5 out of 10, though.
I liked it. But hear me out, though. I am terrified of... I'm not terrified. I don't like mirrors in my bedroom.
Oh.
I don't like reflections, really.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so when I was younger, I watched the first Freddy Krueger movie I watched was the third one, and what is it? Nightmare Warriors or Dream Warriors or something like that. And the mirrors come into play a lot, and Freddy Krueger comes in through mirrors into like their bedrooms and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a plot thing. And I was like 9 or 10 when I watched this movie, so yeah, I think I definitely have some like uh, PTSD from that, I guess. So I've never liked mirrors in my bedroom. Like reflections are fine, but I still am like, depending on where I am, what time it is, what I'm doing, who's around, and stuff like that, I might get a little freaked out by reflections. So I don't like mirrors. And then this movie comes out, and I watched it, and I like the concept. I mean, I like getting scared. Despite me being terrified of mirrors, I still like getting scared because I don't know, I'm kind of messed up anyway. But I thought it was good. I didn't know he was the director though, so that kind of bumps it up for me a little bit.
Yeah, speaking of mirrors, I think my favorite episode of the Fall of House of Usher was wow, I already forgot her name. The mirror episode, right? What was it? The one where she's oh my gosh. Where she's like bashing all Tamerlane. Tamerlane, that's her character. The one that the Gold Bug episode.
Or Gold Bug.
She was like has the husband or boyfriend. That's the fitness instructor. And then that last scene where she's like smashing all the mirrors. Oh my gosh, that was an amazing.
And the end of it,
Her death scene is as weird
yeah.
as it sounds, is my favorite of all the deaths of the show.
I think it was like one of the most creative and probably like, I guess, kind of realistic as far as like all of these deaths go.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, when you think about it, like, that could happen. I'm sure it has happened in real life. Um, yeah,
Like the
that's a
use
good one.
of the slow motion when she throws the fire pick into the ceiling of mirrors. Oh my gosh. It was just such
Yeah,
a cool shot. I mean, the
it's
jump is a little unrealistic. Like, I mean, who throws it and then does a backflip? But anyway, besides that, like, it's just the shot, the way they did it was just so amazing. It was so good. Like, every
uh,
episode for me, my jaw was on the floor. I mean, even though I loved that Goldbug
mhm.
episode, by the end of every episode of this show, my jaw was on the floor. That's how amazing the show was.
the the second episode, the Mask of the Red Death. You know where where they do the rave.
Oh yeah, the rave.
That one, I was just like, I didn't know it was gonna be like this type of show. I don't know if that makes sense, but um, because you know what's happening. You kind of like, you know how there's some shows that kind of keep the mystery from you as they do from the character. So like you find out things as the characters find out,
Yeah, yeah.
and then there's shows like this where you know exactly what's gonna happen, or you have like a pretty good idea of what's gonna happen, and so you're just kind of like, you want to yell at the screen and just be like, stop, like don't do that, like and
It's weird because
that's
they
how I
tell you. They
felt
tell you
with
what's
it.
gonna. You know what's gonna happen. They
I
tell you that
know.
all the kids die, right? And it's a matter of seeing how that happens.
It's I think it's weird. I feel like um some of these episodes, not the episode, sorry, some of these characters weirdly remind me of like Seinfeld or Friends, because I know because like Seinfeld, for example, like the group of friends, I mean, they're not good people. They're the main characters of the show, but really, if you look at it, like the things that they do and what they say and stuff like that, they're not really like nice people. And so it's like they're kind of annoying in a way, but you still kind of root for them. And I think Friends sometimes would have that into like it would give some of their characters that type of aspects, like they're being annoying, but because they're the main characters, you still kind of like them. You still want them to kind of somehow win. And I feel like that's kind of how I felt about this show. It's like, you know that they all die, and it's showing you how they die, and they're not necessarily good people either, but you still want them to live.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like with every episode, it's just like, if you had just been a little bit smarter. And I think that's what's so good about this movie. It just kind of like really grabs you. It's like, ugh.
I really liked how they kept the mystery of who Verna was. Like, I went back and forth between like, oh, she's a real person, and then saying no, she's supernatural, and then no, she's a representation of like greed or lust or something, and then they're just transposing that woman's face onto, you know, a normal person. And I was going back and forth like, what is this person? And it wasn't until Goldbug when the sister of Roderick lunged at her, and then she turned into the black dust. I was like, okay, we're talking supernatural at this point.
Wait, what part? I don't remember that part.
It was it was like her press conference. Remember, she threw the mic stand at the girlfriend, and then that's when the sister saw. She's like, oh, tried to lunge at her, turned into the black smoke from Lost.
That's right. I do remember that now. So you would say that Goldbug is your favorite episode?
I would say, oh man, I think my favorite is the Black Cat.
I was gonna say the same thing. I kind of really like the way he just kind of goes all crazy,
right?
And he just starts destroying the house
with the Thor hammer.
Yeah, with the Thor hammer. Like this, it's one of the things that I really like about the show is that it's a scary show. It has drama, but it also kind of like throws little bits of comedy.
It does.
It's not it does it in such a tasteful way. But it works, and like you still feel horrified at the end of the episode. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, the Black Cat is my favorite. It's a good build up, like him going crazy and stuff.
Like there was so many twists in that end. With the cat losing the eye, and then the cat bringing all the things into the tub, and that shot where it just slowly shows the tub, nothing's there.
Yeah.
He falls off the roof. Cat slowly just walks on his body, and then it reveals that it has two eyes. You're like, oh snap! Oh man, but yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, honestly, the first episode, I really liked it. I liked the way the kids bring the mom back somehow.
Oh yeah,
it's all creepy.
Yeah,
like I don't know. I really enjoyed that. And the neighbor, the rich guy or whatever that opens the door, and then like the mom is all dead and stuff. I don't know. He's an inspiration to me. Flanagan is.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the guy. Oh, man.
You know what's can I share a story about babies waking up in the middle of the night?
Yes. A good break.
Here, let me get real close to you here.
Yes.
Let's talk about this for a second. So the story goes, this is a family story, by the way. I might have talked about this before. You might know the story already, but so this is my brother. My brother's older than me by 5 years, so this is before I was born.
Okay.
But uh, my parents and my brother, they lived in Mexico City, and there was one night. I think my brother was 3.5, 4, almost maybe, just around that age. And there was this one night where apparently I think there might have been a little bit of argument between my parents for whatever reason, marriage. And and my brother was put to sleep. And so then my parents continued to argue, and they were upset, but then they're like, okay, let's go to bed. So they went to bed. But then my dad heard, he claims that he heard steps, like steps going like kind of like around him, like next to where he was sleeping. And he heard the steps, and he thought to himself, all right, here comes my mom to like talk more about this, like argue or whatever. And so he was just kind of like ready to like keep arguing, even though it was like super late at night and he was tired. And so he turns around to basically just see what's going on and argue, but then nobody was there. My mom wasn't there. And so then he looks over to the other side of the bed, and my mom's asleep. And so he's like, oh, what the crap? Like, I just heard steps like literally right behind me as I'm like trying to sleep. And then my brother wakes up and he starts crying. And this is like, I'm not going to say it was 3 a.m. I have no idea what time it was. But so both my parents get up and they go over to his room. And my brother is sitting on his bed and he's crying, and he's pointing at the corner of the bedroom. And he's like, no, don't take me. Please, no, don't take me with you. And so my parents turn on the light and they wake him up. Or, they think that he's like having a nightmare or something like that. But they like grab him and they're like, hey, like, it's okay. Like, we're okay. And then my brother apparently looked at them and looked back at the corner, and he's like, no, the man in black, he's right there and he wants to take me. Don't let him take me. And so my parents are like looking around. There's nobody in the room. And so they took my brother to sleep with them in their bedroom.
Thought that you said the black man took him.
Oh, no.
The man in black. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the story. They never found anything like that. My brother doesn't remember. I mean, he was 3.5, whatever. But both my parents remember.
That is creepy.
So, creepy baby story. Okay.
Maybe he was like sleepwalking, maybe?
He's never done that before. So I don't know that he was sleepwalking.
It's just like in Haunting Hill House. Sometimes your dreams spill into the real world. Is that what the quote is?
So, something like that. That sounds familiar. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, for sure, I've had dreams where like I wake up and it feels like I'm still like the dream came into reality, right? Like it came out.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I don't doubt it. But don't ruin this scary story. It's a scary story. It's real.
That's perfect. While I was holding my baby, I was thinking, how would you rank all the deaths?
So I was thinking the same thing, actually. I think we need to go through them because I might need a bit of a reminder as well.
Okay.
So there's 8 episodes. I don't think anybody dies in the first one, right? Just the mom.
Oh yeah, just the mom. Yeah.
Yeah, the mom, and then somehow she like comes back to life, and then I guess she goes back to being dead. Right?
She gets buried alive, essentially.
Oh.
But her last action of living is to get back at the ex-husband.
That's what that was. All right.
Choking him out, and then she dies.
Oh, that's right. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I remember. All right. So, aside from that, because I don't think that counts. Episode 2 is the rave, the masquerade.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah.
Acid death.
Yep. Yeah.
Episode 3 is the monkeys.
Ah,
Or
yes, the monkeys.
monkeys, chimps, gorillas. I don't remember what it
I
was.
think they were chimps.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Episode 4 was the black cat.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 5 was. See, I'm trying to remember this one because this is the doctor, the surgeon
Yeah.
girl. I
She
think
she tries
kills
to use the heart implant on her partner,
yeah.
right? And then
Yes.
that's when Roderick sees her with it, realizes how crazy she's going, and then she stabs herself.
Oh, okay. I was trying to remember how she died because I remember her being caught by the dad,
Yeah.
by Roderick, but I couldn't remember how she died. If it was like suicide or if he shot her or something. But okay, so she kills herself. She tries to take her heart out, right, or something like that.
Uh yes.
Right?
Yes.
I
Now
think
I
that's what it
remember.
is.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have Goldbug, which is again her seeing things, and then she uses the I want to call it a harpoon. It's not a harpoon.
The fire stick. I just call it the fire
Yeah,
stick.
the fire stick. And yeah, so it's the mirror.
Yep.
This next one I don't remember. Is it
The
Frederick?
pendulum. That's when he gets paralyzed in the they're trying to tear down the factory, right?
That's
And he laced his own drugs with a sedative,
Yeah, I remember.
and he
And then,
watches himself get.
Yeah, it collapses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because the building's collapsing and the pendulum. Okay, now I remember. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's painful.
Wait, are we judging by pain or are we judging by like the cool factor? Because I mean, hands
Ooh.
down, the most painful death is the burning one. I would assume that's got to be the most painful of all of them.
Yeah, because it doesn't kill you instantly. They probably still lived a while before they actually
Yeah.
lost consciousness.
Yeah. My question,
And it was
though,
a ton of them.
like, cause I brought this up with Britt. I was like, could it be because when he was getting shocked or when he was getting melted, right? In the scene, he's like looking around, but it seems like the pain wasn't registering, right? Because everyone was screaming, and I'm wondering if it's because he took some of the Ligadone stuff as part. I mean, in conjunction with all the cocaine, meth, and all that stuff. So I'm wondering if he wasn't feeling the pain, like he was seeing like everybody burn, seeing his own body burn, but he didn't feel the pain. So he's like watching himself die.
So that's more of a mental torture.
Yeah, right.
Could be.
I don't know. Like I don't know if if I'm misremembering or if I misinterpreted the scene. Because there was a scene where they were like him and her and his like two best friends that are in the room watching the TV screens, and they're like they hand out extra drugs. I think it was Ligadone. So
Yeah. So there's a possibility that that maybe he didn't feel it. There's also a possibility that the nerves got burnt, and maybe nobody feels anything after a while anyway.
well, everyone else was screaming, so they felt it, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were dying and you couldn't feel anything, but you knew you were dying, wouldn't you also be screaming?
Yeah, that's true. You'd have a lot of
Okay.
adrenaline throwing through your veins.
Yeah, exactly. And then Roderick, how does he die? And Madeline, how did they die?
Madeline. She's the one that gets tricked by Roderick. They're in the basement having their last drink. And then he drugs her. And then takes her eyeballs out. Because the whole Egyptian thing, mummification thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, well, how does he die?
He just dies with the house. Collapses. I think. Right?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's been a bit. I'm sorry. I like you just barely watched it, and
I
I
did.
haven't. I watched it at the end of October, maybe beginning of November. And I've watched a lot of shows. So I'm sorry that I forget. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, he
Cool.
gets
Death.
strangled. Sorry. He gets strangled by the sister. So
Oh.
because the sister comes out with her eyes gone. Well, she has those rocks in her eyes
Yeah. Yeah.
and then chokes Roderick, which was poetic because that's how the mother killed the husband. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Like the same
That's
way
right.
in terms of like, oh, we thought she's dead, but her last act was to kill the one person that ruined their life or whatever.
Yes. So how do you want to rate them? Do you want to rate them by how like cool slash gruesome they were, like the creativity in the death, or do we rate them by pain?
I think let's do it by general, just general.
General. Okay. Favorite
Yeah.
death.
Favorite, most
Uh,
pain, whatever.
I think Black Cat for me is gonna be number one. I like that he's just crazy and he's seen things, and he
And
basically he
yeah,
just falls to his death. Like
that's
I
probably
think I
like
like it
least
because it's
painful though.
funny.
Yeah, it is a little funny. It wasn't as painful
Uh,
though, because he just
yeah, he dies instantly.
instant death. I mean, he goes through a lot of suffering. Eye gets scratched. Yeah, that's
Oh
about it
yeah,
though.
because the cat scratches his eye,
Yeah.
right, or something like
That's
that.
why I don't like cats, by the way.
Hey, my cat's here somewhere.
Yeah, you'll love your cat until she scratches your eyeball.
She'll eat me when I die.
Oh my gosh, right? Okay, that's a good one. Number 2 would have to be
Wait. What's your number one though?
the mirror one. Tamerlane's Goldbug.
Okay.
Just the
Okay.
coolest, most coolest death. Most cinematic. The way it was shot was just great. I guess I'm basing it off cinematography wise.
Okay. All right.
And then Black Cat would be second for me.
Okay. So Black Cat would be second. See, I think for me, it's probably the pendulum.
Oh yeah?
I think it's.
For number 2?
I think. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, it just sucks. I mean, he can't move. He's paralyzed, but he's fully conscious, and he knows what's happening, and it's happening very slow,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just starts slashing at him bit by bit.
Oh my
And
gosh.
what does she say? Like she's like, it's probably gonna take like so many slashes or so much time,
I don't know. It looked
or
like
does she not say that?
I don't remember, but there was a couple scenes where you would see him, in his dead form, and he's like haunting Roderick or whatever, and you could see like the slices on his body. So it's like, I think it was like 5 or 6 slices, but he wasn't completely dismembered, right?
You're right. Yeah, he's
Except the
like not
part,
cut in half.
right? He's not cut in half, except the part where Roderick sees his family in the old house, and then he's holding his boy, right? He's holding the young version of Frederick, right, in his arms. And then the kid's eyes roll back, and then the kid like slowly like comes apart. I don't know if you remember that, but it was just like
Ooh, vaguely.
hallucination. But the moment I saw
I
the kid's
vaguely
eyes roll
remember
back,
that.
I was like, oh my gosh, just went there. They just went there. Showing a kid getting cut in half. But the nice
I
detail,
remember that. I do remember it.
the really nice detail I liked about that one was when he was rolling his eyes, which was like overdosing, whatever. So it was like a really nice, like, double.
Little touch to it, yeah.
Yeah, right? It was really good. That'd be number 3 for me.
The slicing,
Yeah,
the
Fredericks.
pendulum. Number 3. I mean number 3 for me. Uh, yeah, that would be the mirror for me, because I do like the mirror a lot. It's kind of a satisfying death.
For him? Oh yeah, right.
Like
My
I,
goodness,
as
it
weird
was
as that
so
sounds,
bad.
I'm not trying to be sadistic here, but it's a. You're right. There's something about the cinematography and like what's going on in the moment, and then when it happens, and the slow motion, everything. It's just kind of satisfying, and it's one of those that leaves you like mouth, like jaw to the floor.
Yeah,
Like it was good.
cinematography was great. Really good.
Yes. Okay, what about number 4?
Oh, the party, the rave.
I think I agree.
Yeah, I think by the time episode 2 ends, they're just like, oh, this show is serious. Like when they start out the whole melting sequence, you're like, holy smokes, this is a serious show. It's like kicks in a high gear from there.
It
Because the first
does.
episode, you're like, oh, okay, all right, cool story so far.
You know what I liked about that second episode?
Yeah.
When he's talking to the is it the investigator, his
The detective guy or the lawyer? I think
yeah.
he's the lawyer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the lawyer. When he's talking to
Yeah.
him at the old house,
Yeah.
and he sees him in the background, and he's like, what is it? It's like he's standing right behind you. But it's like
Oh
when you
yeah.
see him like blurred
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
before you know that it's him and what happened to him. I Those are some of the freakiest like scenes in the show.
I
Is when
like
they're
that they.
just kind of hiding.
It was kind of like a callback to the whole haunting
Yeah.
of Hill House, which
Yeah.
was like a
Like in the
sweet.
background, blurred, you know what it is. You can't
Yeah.
quite make it, but it's
Yeah.
so
They're
good.
just like walking around too. That's what makes it different this time.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that would be number 4 as well.
Yeah.
Number 5, probably the heart.
Telltale Heart. Yeah. That was good. Yeah. Yeah.
It was all right. I mean, she's
I think
going
the
crazy with the ticking and stuff.
yeah the gruesome part wasn't her death per se. It was more that she like put the stuff in the girl and she's like randomly in her office, just like against the
Yeah,
wall.
it's all
Oh
bloodied
man.
up.
Even the credits
Eh,
was like shocking because like the show ends or the episode ends and then you're watching the credits and it's just the heartbeat for the whole
mhm.
credits sequence.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh snap.
it's genius. And lastly,
The gorilla
well, I mean,
one.
as far as the siblings go,
Yeah.
yeah, Camille, is it
Camille, yeah.
the one that gets greedy?
That was a cool death.
It was okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt too. Have you ever seen the movie Outbreak with Morgan
Mm-mm.
Freeman?
No.
So
Wait, maybe I have.
it has the monkeys in it.
Yeah, I think so. I may have seen that one.
It just kind of, I don't know. It didn't feel as scary to me. It just felt like something you would see in Planet of the Apes or that movie, which is
Yeah. Right.
actually what happens. So as far as like, I guess I'm basing it off of originality. I don't think it was that creative
Yeah.
of a death. Although the leading up to it, I think was good.
Yeah, the that episode was making me wonder whether she was real or not. Or the Verna, because she started acting like a monkey towards the end, right? So we're like, wait, okay, maybe they're seeing this being on the chimp, right? And the chimp is talking. The chimp's not actually talking, but the entity was. And
Yeah,
I was like, oh man.
definitely. I think she's just like projects
hallucination.
hallucinations. Yeah.
But here's the thing though. How do you explain the footage then? When they have like pictures of her taking the shift, the security guard shift, pictures of her, you know, like it's printed. It's actually printed picture of the lady.
So maybe she's like maybe not a hallucination, but more of a, oh my goodness, what's the word?
A
It's not
possession.
projecting either. No,
No.
or maybe it is projection. Like she's projecting herself
That
into the
yeah,
physical
yeah.
world.
Yeah, maybe. But then how would the kids know? The kids didn't even know about her. So, well, that's probably the one that was the more confusing parts. Like,
I
what are
think
we
it's time
seeing? What are
to
the people actually seeing?
rewatch.
Right?
Amber's interested in watching it, so I might. Okay,
Oh,
what?
okay. Um, the actress that plays Camille, Kate Siegel, who happens to be the wife of Mike Flanagan, doesn't she look like Angelina Jolie? I keep thinking I'm watching Angelina Jolie in this show, especially in like Haunting of Hill House. I remember when I first watched it, I was like, "Is that Angelina Jolie?" I was like, "No."
What's her name again?
Kate Siegel? No,
Oh yeah, yeah, let's see. That's Flanagan's wife.
I think so. Yep, it is her. Yep, confuses me.
She has similar lips and
The
nose, I
lips is the
guess.
one that's yep.
Yeah, it's the lips.
The mouth, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, holy crap. She has like her eyes a little bit
Yep,
too.
yep, yep.
Same tone of skin. Yeah. Yeah, oh my goodness,
Now
they
you
look
won't
alike.
unsee it.
Yep.
Okay. Honorable mentions of deaths. The boss
What
getting
boss?
bricked into the wall. I feel like that'd be such a horrible way to go. You remember that? They scammed the boss.
When
They drug.
they tie him
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and they bury him alive
yeah,
basically.
yeah. And the bricks.
And they're so nonchalant about it too. They're like, "Yep, you're just having a normal conversation as he's getting buried." Yeah, I do remember that now.
And then the whole jester thing. I like the thing I love about
The
the show. The
jester.
jester, like, it's so out of out of the ordinary. You're like, what does this have to do with the show? And then it just connects it for you. Like you,
Yeah.
it's like it's not explicit. It doesn't. It's like not in your face. Like they let the viewer, the audience, can make the connection themselves. It's like a really fun discovery that you get to do.
The jester inside of the car is probably one of the jump scares that got me.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Actually,
freaky.
yeah,
That
yeah,
jester
that
is
was a
like
freaky one.
freaky.
And it's so out of the
Yeah.
blue too, right?
Yeah, there's no build up to it or anything like that. They're just having a normal conversation, doing normal things, and then suddenly he's just right there.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
freaky.
I love it. I love those type of scares where it's not just random. Like there's, you know how some movies will try to do jump scares or something scary just for the sake of being scary. And it has nothing to do with it. Whether it's like a loud volume thing or, they just, it's random, like a bird flapping out of the blue. It's like, oh, such a cheap
It's
scare.
like,
But these
but
ones
it's
are,
like it's random, but it's not though.
yeah, right? Ah,
Which is the it's that's what makes it good in here because it makes sense that he would appear to her
yep, yep, yep,
when she's about to go into the same building, right, or something like that.
yep.
Um, it's not just like
Oh,
a
here's scary
jump
because
scare
it,
for the sake of
yeah,
yeah.
yep.
There's a reason behind it, and it's like it's done so well, and it's
I appreciate
probably
that
one of the
type
better
of
shows.
filmmaking and writing.
Did you jump with any of these scares on the show?
Not really. Like this wasn't a very scary show in terms of like frightening. Like it was pretty
Mm-hmm.
scary, but not frightening.
I think it's more like graphic more than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, I'd say
Kind
that.
of like doesn't hold back on like showing you things.
That's what I was saying about like episode 2. That rave. Oof. The
Yeah.
acid. The other death, which was Annabelle Lee. Do you remember that one?
Is that the assistant?
That's the wife of Roderick, the first wife and only true love, where she meets Roderick at the funeral, and they're talking about how like, oh, you took the kids away from me because you just gave them money, you bought them everything, and then she's like, I had nothing to offer because they were so blind by the richness. And so she turns around, walks away, and then you see a bullet, an exit wound on the back of her head. You're like, oh dang, she shot herself.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Which episode is that in?
episode 7, I believe.
Episode 7. What's her name again?
Annabelle Lee. Yeah, this was the first wife, the redhead, the one that was like the very good person in this show, besides the niece. But oh man,
I wanna see if I can find it.
I don't think you'll be able to find it.
I don't think I'll be able to find it either.
But yeah, it's one of those things where they don't. Well, I don't know. I think they do. They do mention that she takes her own life, but it was like just a very subtle. Like I said, they let you connect the dots before they tell you. It's like a fun discovery.
I think that's the one death I might have like somehow missed. How did I miss that?
I mean, they don't show her shooting herself. If that's what you're confused about.
Right. No. But if she turned around and you can see an exit wound, I missed that. I don't think I knew that she died.
Huh. Interesting. Well, more reason to watch it again.
Either that or I completely forgot again. I mean, I feel like there's so many things that I like forgot about it until you brought them up. I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember this now. Is it? Did they have like an Edgar Allan Poe? A bit, I guess, maybe.
I mean, the whole show is Edgar Allan Poe, essentially. I didn't realize because when I saw the episode name for Telltale Heart, I was like, is every episode a Edgar Allan Poe story? And it is, apparently. Every title is from an Edgar Allan Poe short story or book or some sort of story that he did. And then The Fall of the House of Usher is also a story that Edgar Allan Poe did. So it's like it's just a very general Edgar Allan Poe. And they do a lot of like snippets and quotes throughout the show. So when they're quoting like some poetic stuff, that's Edgar Allan Poe. In my opinion, there's a nitpick. I think they did it a little too much. Like I loved the fact that they were calling, attributing that it was Edgar Allan Poe, that it is his story, but they did it maybe a little too much to the point. It was like, oh, like what are they quoting at this point, right?
Interesting. Yeah, I see, and
like it took me out of the show a bit, because they're like, oh, they're quoting Edgar Allan Poe. Does Edgar Allan Poe exist in this universe? Does that mean they're realizing a lot of their deaths and their names and their shows are very closely related to Edgar Allan Poe's works? You know, kind of like the whole meta thing. So I don't know.
But see, I'm not an Edgar Allan Poe connoisseur or anything like that, so I don't think I ever made that connection.
It was until Telltale Heart. That was the one that threw me off. And I was thinking, okay, that like Goldbug. I was like, Goldbug? That doesn't sound like an Edgar Allan Poe story. And then apparently it is a story. Are you watching it now?
Interesting. Yeah, I'm watching. Oh my goodness, I never saw that. Yeah, she turns around. There's the wound.
Yep.
But you know what's funny though? It's him. He gets out of the funeral, goes into the car, and that's where the jester is.
Yep.
I was thinking that it appeared to her, to his sister, not to him. I forgot about that. I forgot that it's him that it appears to.
Dang, you need to rewatch, yo.
I really do.
Oh
Wow.
man.
And you need to watch Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass. Yes, that is next. We did start
good.
watching Daredevil.
Ooh.
So maybe we'll stop watching that and watch Midnight Mass instead.
No.
There's so many episodes of Daredevil. Oh my goodness.
There's like
4 seasons,
30.
dude. 3.
There's
Is it 3 or 4 seasons? 3.
3. And I would definitely skip through the Defenders. Just watch a recap.
The what?
The Defenders.
Oh.
So it's you'll see season 1 and season 2, and then it goes into like it's basically like the Avengers of Netflix, with like 4 superheroes.
Oh, okay.
And so it kind of like advances the story a little bit, and then it jumps back into Daredevil. You don't need to see anything else to understand what's going on. You just kind of need a recap from the Defenders, and it's a good story.
Okay. I'll watch that later. Here's the most surprising thing for me of this show. What did you think of Mark Hamill as the lawyer?
Okay, well, first of all,
As a big
can't-
Star Wars fan, I might say.
You're right. You're right. So, as a big Star Wars fan, I like Mark Hamill, and I enjoy him as the voice of the Joker. I like him in anything Star Wars except for maybe the sequels. And I wish we saw more of him. So, I was surprised to see him in not a principal role,
yeah.
like not a lead role. But at the same time, I appreciated it. I appreciated that his role. I don't know how to explain this, but I feel like it kind of helped me see his range as well.
Yeah.
As an actor, I think he did a really good job as being the butler. Was it?
The lawyer.
Oh yeah, that's right, the lawyer, the butler. Oh my hell! I think he's great. Again, it surprised me that he was not like a lead, but he was a very good support role, and I mean, knowing what he actually sounds like, but then seeing him here and the way he acts and stuff like that, like I couldn't tell that he was making a voice, if that makes sense. Like even though his voice was like, it's like it's kind of like a weird voice, but it fit. It actually kind of worked.
I think he needed to do that just to try to hide as much as possible that he's Mark Hamill. You know.
But
I think that would have taken me out.
Yeah. Wait, so did you like him in the role, or did you think he was too distracting?
He was great. Like I was like, yeah, this is great. Something where he's not related to Star Wars or Joker. It's like finally,
or like
I get to
nerdy
see
stuff.
him.
Yeah, I feel like he's such a big nerd, and he's always like connected to nerdy things.
Yeah.
So seeing him in a more grounded role, as you know, as far as like fantasy goes versus horror suspense, I think he did a really good job.
You know, it was funny because I was a scene where he's sitting with Frederick, like they're talking to each other, and I'm thinking, man, I wonder if any of these actors are just like trying to hold back their fanboyism. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sitting with Luke Skywalker right now.
Yeah, for real.
And I'm like, it must have been such a cool moment on set.
I think he needs more roles in like dramatic, or like he's kind of like he reminds me a little bit of like a Jim Carrey type of actor.
Oh,
So and I mean that in like the sense of like he can take on like very out there characters and roles that don't come easy to others. I think he's the one to nail those roles.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be like super eccentric or anything like that, but there are certain roles that are really hard to nail down, and I think he's got that potential. So hopefully we get to see him again. Maybe he gets a lead role in the next Flanagan show.
Maybe, right? I wonder
If
what's
there's,
next.
I know if there's a new one,
Yeah.
I'll be watching.
Yeah. Well, guys, what did you think of the fall of the House of Usher? Let us know what you thought. What did you think of the deaths? What was your ranking of how these people died, even the side characters? Let us know. If you like this review, let us know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, all that stuff. Let us know what we should focus on. If you liked more urban legends or if you like more of horror movies or type of horror shows, let us know.
Thank you for joining us today. I apologize that I forgot some key points from the show. I'm thankful for Gabe that you were able to remind me a lot of the show and like just reminded me how much better it was than I remembered.
You're the proxy for the audience in case people forget.
But yeah, it's a show that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed talking about scary movies and actors and stuff like that. So this was great. I do want to talk about more scary stuff though, like maybe talk about some scary stories. Maybe you guys have some stories you want to share and we'll read them in one of our episodes. I think that sounds fun. But let us know. Comment, like, subscribe. Uh, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.